Hello. Hi. How we doing? I should probably have waited until the plane passed over. I'm sorry, guys. I live nearby an airbase. Hello. Welcome to the show. I am Jacob Davidson. I live in North Texas area, probably Central Texas. It's a bit hard to tell which one is which. Anyway, it's nice to see you guys. Welcome to the show. My topics today. So today I'll be talking about something I started talking about on Friday. Tanner Horner. Uh, After that, I'm gonna wrap up some Aaron Dean comments that I had, and then something I learned from the Gosney discussion, and some thoughts about myself. So, that's all that's on the docket for today. Hopefully, it'll last. How I want the show to last is about 3 hours. I need to start figuring out how to fill in 3 hours of time with actual content and not get lucky with an interview or padded out time. So I'll start trying to do that. I'll start looking up more topics. You don't have to stay for the 3 hours. You're always welcome to come back and watch it on the replay. I'm not trying to hold anybody hostage for 3 hours. Of course I might have to like interrupt the flow some here and there, mute the mic and deal with roommates. So hopefully I won't have to do so much of that. But yeah, airbase. It's like right over there. So you'll hear lots of planes. I'll try to mute whenever that happens because I know it's really annoying to hear nothing or normal noises in the background, to hear like a loud boom or jet overhead. Anyway, the first topic of the day is Aaron Dean. The Aaron. Wait. I'm stuck on my first stream. Tanner Horner. Always have a plan for what you're going to go over and try to avoid lots of pauses. Yeah, that's the plan, Heather. I don't wanna. I don't want to. I should probably leave the mic on for when a jet passes over and see if you guys can hear it. I kind of have a window open still because I don't want to die from heat. So I might have to just shimmy on over, close the window, and deal with heat. You can probably still hear the jet rumble. Anyway, on to the topic. I need to figure out a way to get this so it's not, so I can actually go to what I want to go to. Okay. So here it is. The Tanner. No, it's fine. Just hear your voice. Oh, well, I had unmuted after the jet kind of flown over, and it was the rumblings of it in the background. Also, I gotta figure out how to get this light situation fixed as best as possible because I am probably washed out. I'll figure it out eventually. Anyway, Tanner Horner. Uh, he was arrested. My God, was it really in December? I thought it was in like January. So Tanner Horner, I am a ghost. Tanner Horner is a former FedEx driver who, on in December, probably leading up into December, kidnapped Athena Strand, a 7-year-old, or I thought she was 8. Oh. Kidnapped Athena Strand in Wise County, Texas, and about 2 days later, he came to the police and confessed that he had killed her and that he had and where the body was. That's weird. So after this, he was arrested. Of course, he confessed to killing Athena Strand. So he was arrested, and a couple days ago, I was watching the development of it because I didn't want to get too invested in this idea of a case and for it to just go out because I really thought Tanner Horner was going to plead guilty because he's got a death sentence hanging over him. He's got a death sentence. I'm guessing he pled not guilty to make a case, but if he pled guilty to a death sentence, it would just go to death sentence. I was thinking it might not be it. I was thinking that the prosecution of the case might be using it to leverage against him. So like, hey, you got the death penalty. Plead guilty and you just get life in prison. I'm not sure if they even did that. This is all just speculation on my part. So he pled not guilty. Surprisingly, pled not guilty. Despite telling the cops everything. And while he probably, I don't know if he was Mirandized whenever he confessed, but it's entirely possible he wasn't. And so this is a chance to try to like not get fucked by the system. So here in this article, this is Tanner Horner. Oh yeah, March 6th. Okay. So Tanner Horner apparently also has a couple of sexual assault charges added to what he was already dealing with before. I actually know a little bit about this guy. A coworker I have is associated with him. Was associated. Is no longer associated with him anymore. He hasn't talked to him about 5 years. And in that time ago, he defended Tanner because he didn't know much about his wrongdoings. He had for lack of a better equivalent, a Me Too allegation. My coworker who associated with this guy stuck up for him because he thought it was a friend, he thought it was bogus, so he did what a friend should do. Not so much friends anymore. So Tanner Horner has been charged with 3 counts of sexual assault of a child under 17 in Tarrant County, according to court records. This is probably from the thing I was mentioning a second ago. I need a better system than what I got here. Horner, the FedEx contract driver who was arrested on December 2nd on charges of murder and kidnapping and the death of the 7-year-old Athena Strand, and is in Wise County Jail with $1 million bond for capital murder and $500,000 rather. Sorry, bond for aggravated kidnapping. I think the aggravated kidnapping was because of the vehicle. I'm not sure. I don't know if he had a weapon for it. The three new charges are out of Tarrant County and are not related to the Athena Strand case. Wise County Sheriff Lane Atkin confirmed to the Wise County, Wise County Messenger. Never heard of them. Yeah, 31 faces charges. He looks weird, doesn't he? The sexual assault charges were filed Wednesday after after an investigation by the Fort Worth Police Department. From court records, it appears the charges. Oh fuck! I need an ad blocker. I thought Opera GX already had an ad blocker installed. From court records, it appears the charges are related to three separate incidents which occurred in 2013 in Tarrant County. Holy shit! I was 14 when this happened. What the fuck? Horner's first appearance related to these charges is set for January 5th, 2023. A woman posted on Facebook immediately after Horner's December 2nd arrest that he had sexually assaulted her about 8 years ago when she was 16 years old and that she had reached out to investigators to tell her story. It's unclear if she is the victim involved in the new charges. These ads, I'm going to do things. Yeah, I guess I am. This guy is just now facing charges because basically at the end of the year last year, so in December, he kidnapped and killed Athena. This is what got him in jail. And this guy is now having his laundry from previous incidents be stacked on top of that now. So he was arrested for a more egregious act, and now everything else is coming forward. Horner is accused of murdering Athena Strand after making a delivery at her father's rural home in Paradise on November 30th. What's up, Karamachet? Carrie Meshet. I need to start. I read it like Nick does. My bad. What's the confusion about? But according to the arrest warrant and supporting affidavit obtained by the Star Telegram on December 8th, Horner told investigators he had accidentally backed into the 7-year-old with his delivery van. According to Horner, Athena was not seriously hurt, but he grabbed her and put her in the van because he thought she would tell her father about the incident. Authorities believed Horner killed Athena within an hour of her abduction. He told investigators he strangled her and left her body in the water by the edge of the Trinity River near Boyd, where it was recovered December 2nd. He was arrested because he came forward and confessed and pointed out where to find the body. He wasn't arrested on the sexual assault allegations. He was arrested because he was directly linked to the knowledge of where she was when she was missing in those 2-day period. So that's why he was arrested. Atkin told the Star Telegram that investigators have talked to the district attorney's office about seeking the death penalty for Horner in the Athena Strand case. Autopsy results are still pending. I'll see how I can get access to these, because uh, I don't know. It seems relevant. Might not be. Might just watch it in the trial. Hopefully there is a broadcasted trial. Horner, 31-year-old, is from Fort Worth, and he does not appear to have a prior criminal record in Wise Return County. I did not know this guy was doing his shit in 2013. That is actually kind of news to me. But yeah. So that's how it's going so far. I don't know if that's all. I'm gonna probably look further. What's that? No. Okay, here's the actual. Ah. See if I can. No, let me see the background. How do you fucking. Damn it. I'm getting shafted. I'll probably have to go to another source. Okay, here's I guess a more recent one. Yeah, this is actually one of the ones I want to go to. Alright, so a couple weeks ago, I was at the gas station near my job. And at the gas station, they have the Star Telegram. They have a newsstand there. And we were fueling up, so I was hanging out up until we fueled up. I was getting something, and lo and behold, the newspaper stand has news that Tanner Horner has pled not guilty to the crimes. And I thought it was ballsy. And it might be the move that he needs to make, because I don't know, maybe he thinks he's going to get some leniency if he just explains himself. The way he's explained it, I've got this of mice and men kind of idea about how he proceeded through this incident. If that makes any sense. Alright, so a FedEx driver who confessed to police he killed 7-year-old girl last November pleaded not guilty Monday morning during his capital murder arraignment hearing. Tanner Horner, 31, last December told police he accidentally hit 7-year-old Athena Strand with his delivery truck on November 30, and that he killed the girl with his bare hands after he got scared when she said she was going to tell her father about the minor accident. It's a little hard to comprehend why he would go to such an extreme when it didn't need to go that far. But I'm looking on it from the outside. Now, hopefully he'll get the punishment he's deserved. And I'm hoping that the prosecution doesn't play games with this one. If they don't, very good job for Wise County. And hopefully they'll do their job on this one. I've seen so many of these trials where it's been just kind of the accused is demonized to the point where the prosecution can play games. And while he's deserving of it, I don't want the state to play games on this one. I hope they play it proper so they can put him away properly. Horner, police said, then told investigators where to find the missing girl's body 2 days after she disappeared. He was indicted on capital murder charges last month. Benson Varghese, an attorney representing Strand's mother, Madeline Gandy, spoke outside of the courthouse after the hearing Monday morning and said Horner's attorney waived arraignment and entered the plea of not guilty on their client's behalf. Gandy was in Wise County courtroom for the arraignment hearing. It was the first time she had been in the same room with the man accused of killing her daughter. It was probably one of the most difficult moments of my life to see the person who killed her. It was probably one of the most difficult moments of her life to see the person who killed her daughter. It's a moment she's thought about for a long time. I suppose it's surreal in some sense, but it is of just grave importance for her to be there. It was of just grave importance. Gandy was joined in the courtroom by about 20 members of law enforcement, about half of whom who had been involved in the search for the missing girl and investigation into her death. This morning, something that was unusual is that the courtroom was full of law enforcement officials. We had the constable, we had the sheriff, we had rangers. There were at least 20 individuals from various law enforcement agencies in the courtroom, Varghese said. It means a lot to her, Madeline Gandy, and a number of individuals who were involved in the investigation came up and gave her hugs and greeted her warmly and just showed up for her, and that was powerful. Oh, okay, so that was just that. Last month, Gandy joined a civil lawsuit filed by her ex-husband Athena's father against Horner, FedEx Ground, and Big Topspin. The contracted delivery service that hired Horner to deliver packages. Wait, why? Okay. Yeah, sure. The family seeking more than $1 million in damages. The civil lawsuit, Varghese said, gives them additional ability to investigate the circumstances around the girl's death, including who was responsible, as well as all of the decision makers who could have prevented the girl's death from happening. I mean, the guy just panicked and killed her. He was basically the decision maker. He was contracted independent. What? I get it. You can sue anybody for anything, but why? I guess because FedEx might be able to go to just pay it off and leave it be. Maybe that's what they're going for. It was responsible as well as all the decision makers who could have. Prosecutors announced last month they plan to seek the death penalty in the capital murder case. Horner, it was later learned, on the day of the murder, delivered a 6-pack of You Can Be Anything Barbie dolls that were meant to be a Christmas present for. That is tragic. Very tragic. In January, Mattel donated 2,000 Barbies and the other toys to Cook Children's Medical Center in Fort Worth in Athena's honor. Horner remains in Wise County Jail on six bonds totaling $1,560,000. Horner is being held on 4 charges of sexual assault of a child dating back to 2013, unrelated to the Strand case. So that's the development of the Athena Strand murder and Tanner Horner's indictment. Yeah. So imagine the surprise I had a couple weeks ago when the guy who confessed to killing her pleads not guilty. He has the right to, but a lot of people are displeased by it. I'm just hoping that the state doesn't play games and that he is properly put through the process and no shenanigans. That might help a little bit with the lighting. Man, that took about 30 minutes of the show. I have no knowledge of how to fill time. So, with that, I'm probably done with that first topic. Tanner Horner. How does that keep happening? I'm still learning the process, so hopefully it won't be too bad. So Tanner Horner, I'm hoping to get more information on, maybe get access or talk to the family, see how they feel, get kind of thank you. It's near enough to me that I can get all this, hopefully. And I'm hoping to be able to, I guess, extract as much of the story as possible, if that's the proper wording for it. But, yeah, it's just tragic. Well, I could go to the court, but I would need to shift my job. Right now I work a night shift job, so I don't have any time outside of Thursday and Friday, and those are basically when a case like that would be done anyway. Yeah, I could probably call the courthouse. I need to figure out. Wise County's court center courtroom. Wise Circuit Court. I already clicked that, my bad. Oh, this is Virginia. Why are all these websites bright? So bright. Hey! That worked swimmingly. uh... The court department, Wise County. Well, I guess I have the Wise County sub courthouse. But yeah, there it is. I'll probably figure that out later. Let's see if this works here. Hey, check that out. I have figured out a portion of my problem. Very good. But yeah, I'll try to figure that out later. Hopefully I can get more information. I'll probably start filling that out in like a community tab or hit it up on Twitter. Should probably mention that I have a Twitter. I haven't really done much with it because I don't think there's much to do right now, but I should start advertising on it. I think it's safe to pull up something on Twitter. This is the, yeah. Ta-da! Here's my Twitter account. It's not very active because it's still new. So Legal Layman at Legal Layman with 2 N's. Follow me there. Oh, how did that happen, Heather? What do they accuse you of? What do they do? I. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot to do scene. Yeah, here's my Twitter. Well, all I said was, I wished I could slap someone's face because they were being rude to a Trump supporter. And they kept denying my appeals even after Musk took over, and according to Ricada, that's not a real threat. It might not be a real threat, but it might be antithetical or against their policy. But I'm upset with Musk because he's like, my policies will basically be whatever the law is. And he has not shown that to be the case. Carrie, how did you get banned? I'm lucky I had a couple of accounts already made before one of them got banned. And it was mostly and the ban happened after this account was made, so I'm not ban evading or breaking an appeal. But I talked bad at Jack Dorsey, and he was complaining to Musk on some tweet, and I'm like, fuck off. The big boys are at the table now. You're not there anymore. But yeah, that's my first topic. I managed to fill in 37 minutes, yay. So Aaron Dean, what I forgot to mention the other day, which I think bears it's for me more or less because I wanted to round out the thing I was talking about, and I was talking about the 5 principles of self-defense, and I got through 3 of them. I might have been wrong on one of them, so I want to make sure I got it right this time. And I happened to pull out the right page. First try. So yeah, I didn't think this is the 4th one I thought might be it, but I wasn't ready to take the risk and be like, oh, this is it. So element 1 is innocence. So applying the 5 elements. Innocence can be lost. Innocence can be lost, I think, is more or less when you pick the fight, when you are the aggressor, the aggressive element to the incident, where you're trying to aggravate the person, trying to get them into a fight with you, or if you're just straight up trying to fight them. Yeah, provocative words uttered. If there are no provocative words uttered, so we're limiting our consideration solely to the actions, then it's first person to use or threaten physical force. Who's the initial aggressor? Yeah, so that's how innocence is lost. Yeah, the innocence aspect is in respect to like stand your ground, I believe. I might be wrong. I'll need to look that up. But like if you're the aggressor and use the force, and someone starts using more force than you started out with, you can't really. I don't think in most cases you can use that. You can't use like someone going from fist to like a stick to shoot them if you have a gun. But if they have like a knife, you might be able to use that. But also, this also pertains to like retreating from the fight to regain innocence, like making it very clear that you don't want to do the fight. So in this case, in Aaron Dean, innocence you can't achieve innocence. It's a non-factor because he's a cop responding to a call. Of course, you can kind of lose it. I guess innocence is proceeding along the line of procedure and protocols. So if you follow the protocol to the letter of the law, then that would be his innocence factor. Number 2 is imminence. Yeah, did reasonable, no, proportionality, imminence, innocence. I forgot what I said 2 days ago. So imminence of the threat. In this case, he saw a Tatiana Jefferson point a gun at him through a window in a burglary in progress call. So that's where his imminence comes from. The 2-hour drill or 2-hour distance would be knife-based. There was a window, so that can't really be done. Element 3, proportionality. He used a gun. When he saw a gun, that's easy to attain. Deadly force meets deadly force. Avoidance. How do you fulfill this element in this case? I mean, he is a cop. He has Castle Rock to protect him in the case that he doesn't actually accept the call. Like, he gets the call and he just doesn't respond. Castle Rock v. Gonzalez can help him out, but he responds because it's his job. The fourth element, avoidance, it's about common sense. It makes sense to not shoot someone if you can get safely away. Call the police. A simple enough concept, but handling it from a legal perspective can be more. Yeah, so avoidance is almost impossible in this case because he is the cop that responds to it, but he also has Castle Rock v. Gonzalez in the case that he doesn't want to respond to it. But like, I think I plan on going to Fort Worth. Hey, just yours. Nice to see you again. I think I have a plan to go to like the Fort Worth Police Department and see if I can get some sort of see if I can get some sort of policy and procedure text, like a booklet or something. Kind of see what their policies on this thing was. Because if I can figure out a lot of the problem in that case that I heard about was the fact that he looked at the door and didn't go back and call for backup to do the thing. Because from what I understand, the investigation of the structure doesn't stop at the door. It starts at the door or where they start it, and you have to go all the way around the structure. You have to scan the perimeter, in which, by the case, he was doing it because they go from the front door through the gate to the back because it wasn't locked. They tested it. They checked it. And the fact that they got through is evidence. So they go from the front door to the side. And I'm willing to bet all circumstances going in their favor, they would have gone past the window after looking in if there was no one in the window. To the back door, check the back door, and then all the way back around. If they encountered another window, they would have done the same thing. And if Tatiana was there, that's where it would have happened. If she wasn't, they would have gone back to the door and made their determination. That's what I want to know. I want to know if that's how it should have gone. And if that's the case, I don't really know what there is to do, because, I mean, I could try to file an appeal for Dean, or file something, amicus curiae. I don't know what I can do in this case, because I think this is unjust. I've made that very clear. But yeah, that's the fourth element, avoidance. Now I'll go back over this so everyone who is just tuning in, like just yours, can catch up with what I was thinking on this case. Oh yeah, and reasonableness. The final fundamental element of law of self-defense is reasonableness. Reasonableness can be thought of as the umbrella that covers each of the four elements. Everything you do in self-defense, your perceptions, your decisions, your actions, must be reasonable. As a recap of those other elements. Hey, the book does it for me. I love that. Thank you, Bronca. I think the Get Hard code is still active on Law of Self-Defense. lawofselfdefense.com/get hard. That's how you get this version of the book. I got a couple soft covers, but one, really, because I want to give it to a friend. Alright, so first element, innocence, imminence, proportionality, and avoidance. Was your belief, and in the innocence, was your belief you were defending an innocent person, whether yourself or someone else, a reasonable belief. Imminence, when you assess the danger as imminent, was that a reasonable assessment? Third element, proportionality, were your estimates of the degree of the force threatening you and the degree of force you used in response reasonable? And element 4, avoidance. Was your decision that there was no safe way to retreat a reasonable decision? In which case, in the Arendine, safe retreat was not possible, because if he had retreated, his partner, who was facing her back in the way he was looking, would have been exposed and could have very easily been in danger. So himself and his partner were the things he was defending at the moment. And I also want to make it clear, I don't think I ever said it in my previous stream about the Arendine incident. If she had shot him or the partner and they had died, she would have been equally justified in use of force as they would have been, as they should have been. Because Tatiana Jefferson did not know the police were there. If she had known, that would have been a different aspect. All she knew was that there was a guy in the window, or there was someone around the house who got into the backyard. Someone's at the window, and all you see is a bright light. She couldn't have known. They parked distance away, no lights. She could not have known. And this is why I hate the defense. I hate the defense for insinuating a non-factor that doesn't account for his self-defense. And they bought into the prosecution's argument, and it screwed them. Makes me mad. Reasonableness leads to this reasonable Ralph concept. Reasonable Ralph is, I think, like an objective standard in this situation. So like you create a persona, you give it the baseline reasonable things that you would do. So like not wanting to hurt people, not wanting to, just to make sure I'm not getting it wrong. Reasonable and prudent person, let's call him a figment of legal imagination. A reasonable, prudent person has rather no tendency to do everything the right way. Let's call him reasonable Ralph. Your actions will be judged in comparison to reasonable Ralph. So reasonable Ralph is this reasonable person, and the idea is you can customize this reasonable person, creature thing to your situation. So it starts out as an infallible, proper guy, basically Jesus Christ, in that he can't do wrong. You can start customizing Ralph, reasonable Ralph, to your knowledge set. So what you would know at the time of the incident is prudent, because what you do at the time of a crime is what becomes the judged actions. Thank you, Branca. Very, very reliable resource, especially when considering this case that we're talking about. Hopefully I get to talk to him some point. So, up there, this is a game case. And, it's like a wavy thing. And the book's tall enough to where it's touching a book, or touching a game case from the top of the book. So I might need to move that. I didn't realize that was teetering on an edge. So Aaron Dean's trial goes to about that time, or not. Yeah. Aaron Dean goes to conviction, and that's how it happens. The rest of that can be found on the previous video. And the last thing I want to say on the topic, in that prayer circle that I mentioned in my first video, of all the names that was mentioned, not only was George Floyd not mentioned, they didn't mention a black person that died in the last 2 years, which just kind of got buried in the news. It makes me so mad that the people were so easy to forget this guy. David Dorn. I will bring this back up. David Dorn was a man responding to the riots that was incited at the moment George Floyd died. I did not know how this case proceeded, so I'm very happy to know what I know now. In this prayer circle, David Dorn was not mentioned at all, despite being a black man who died in basically the same time as George Floyd. But it might also have been because David Dorn was an ex-cop. I'm just thinking. And it drives me to a rage. Because while I was in the circle, I was just in an uncomfortable position of no sleep, surrounded by a bunch of people that I basically voiced an antithetical opinion to. And, yeah, I was stuck with a jacket in my hand because I had just gotten off work and it was cold. So yeah, David Dorn, this man who no one seems to remember from the BLM side, despite them making many claims or calls to remember their names. The man who was shot and killed the retired police captain who was trying to protect a pawn shop from looters will spend the rest of his life in prison. Very good. Very good. I'll probably go and watch over the case, see if this guy got a fair trial, though. I don't think it was televised. A jury found Stefan Cannon, 26. I know why now. I know why they didn't. I now know why they didn't mention this at all. It would have fucked the narrative. Life in prison without parole. She also gave Cannon the maximum sentence on each of the 5 additional charges for a total of 30 years to be served consecutively with his life sentence. I don't know. I feel like this should have been sequential. This is the maximum sentence the law allows. She urged Cannon to listen to the words of Dorn's family members spoke about how he still has a life to live and turn around. Your life does continue, and this choice you have to make. How do you continue on, she said. 5 on your side. Lisa Dorn said he was murdered by the type of young man my father tried to save. he would. She also said that her sister Deborah Dorn have been fighting to preserve their father's legacy, which has been used as a political pawn to support causes and people my father would never have supported. He would not approve of any of it. Their father's widow, Anne Wood Dorn, has appeared on Fox News and other conservative shows and supported former President Trump since Dorn's murder. I hope your eyes are woke. You still have time to get everything together and make amends with your maker. Oh, with your maker. All this like talk about him having a chance to come back from this is kind of lost whenever you realize he's basically serving the rest of his life in hell. Hopefully. I gotta look more into Stefan Cannon. So I'll make a note of that. Gosney has yellow sticky pads. I have Notepad, a web program, which is pinned to my taskbar, so I never forget it. So yeah, that was David Dorn. That's the name I was surprised didn't get mentioned. Well, I was more surprised George Floyd didn't get mentioned in any way, shape, or form. I was thinking about David Dorn because of this whole prayer circle thing that was happening. So a 3-hour show, I'm realizing, is not feasible as I currently have everything set up right now. So this will probably wrap up sooner than I want, but it'll have been something worthwhile. I don't want to just do like 3 hours of bullshit, at least until I can do bullshit properly. So the idea is I can start finding topics and start having talks enough to fill in 3 hours. But I realize Ricada does it because he has a chat and he can ramble or rant. I love it. I love it the way he does it. And I kind of want to emulate it in that way, but I want to do it in my style. I know it's probably like a lot of coattail writing, but he has his unique experience, and the thing I learned, this is easily going into my last topic, introspections and thoughts. The thing easily learned if you look, listen, and read, if you actually start like taking heed to advices given from the people that are successful. Ricada made this comment that there's like bags of money. Money's not real when you start doing this. I have the locals chat for Ricada up. And here I'll bring it up. It is funny as shit. Is that the right one? I'm not doxing. Just no, you can look into the chat for free. You got to pay to interact, and I'm paying. But I damn it, that was just fucking hilarious. Well, yes, technically. That's the most important way of being correct is being technically correct. Hopefully you get your work done well. I this I could not imagine doing a proper job at work from home. Mostly because I work a street sweeping job, which is basically manual labor and bullshit. You know how many times I've gotten like, okay, so street sweeping seems like this fun prospect. Only if you do the actual street sweep portion of it, which is like the contract job from the government, where you like actually drive along the road. It's more or less called a power sweeper in Texas law. And I got the statutes for it in Texas law because my boss was like, he wants to make a plate because in Texas you don't need a license plate for a power sweeper, but cops will pull you over anyway and it's like, hey, this truck doesn't have a license plate. Is that? What's up with that? It's like, it's a power sweeper, my guy. It doesn't need one. And so yeah, that's fun. But street sweeping's not so glamorous, especially when the properties you have to go to are all a bunch of like trash bags. Trash bags and the content inside. And people don't even care sometimes if there's a trash bag. They'll just throw shit in the can. Because of course. So, nasty. Nasty stuff. Especially if you've got to clean up the dumpster and they don't use the dumpster, they just throw it around. It's the worst in Dallas. It's not so bad in Dallas to me anymore. The DFW area. I don't want to nail it down to a specific community, obviously. But yeah, the workflow basically goes from Fort Worth to Arlington to Dallas and then back. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Just wanted to know generally. Yeah, I figured. But just in case, I was going to make that clear. But yeah, the street sweeping stuff, it helped me a lot. This goes well enough into the introspection. 2 years ago, well, yeah, 2 years, it feels like. A year and a half, maybe. Yeah, a year after, or a few months after Rittenhouse's acquittal. That's kind of where I remember. No. Yeah, so 2 years before the Rittenhouse acquittal, 2 years ago, before. Okay, timeline. Before Rittenhouse, after acquittal. That's in like the 2 to 3 year before, generally. I was like 21 to 22. I'm always a year older than the current century. So, the Rittenhouse trial, I basically watched through and through because I was a no life, no work person for a while. Because I had a hernia in my spine. S1 to L5 to S1. That's lumbar 5 to sacral 1. That's near where your spine meets your pelvic bone, or your pelvis. They had a left herniation towards the left, and the spine was basically like that, or it's crunched up like an accordion fold. And this happened while I was at work, I believe, and I quickly, very quickly, I thought it was manageable initially. It's like, it's so annoying. It's like, I gotta roll something. I thought it was alright for a while, up until the point where I was laying in bed and I wanted to turn. So, like, I lay on my back, but I like laying on my stomach. And the act of just turning slightly, because I have to use my legs, would shoot pain down my left side, my left leg. It got to a point where it's like, hey, I need to go see a doctor. Something needs to be fixed. I'm not sure that this is just like a pulled muscle. And I was on FMLA. That's around the same time as like this happened. Yeah. Okay, I have a better timeline. This happened leading up to Anime Matsuri 2 years ago. This was 2021 Matsuri. So, July. I was starting to walk with a crutch to support that side because I had developed a limp. And walking was uncomfortable. Standing up was uncomfortable. The most comfortable position was laying on flat ground on my back. And that was a death sentence, because then you gotta get up from that. And I went to a convention, because I already had it planned out. I was already gonna go there. That's my whole plan. But this pain, the hernia, took a lot out of that first experience. But after the Rittenhouse trial, short-term disability kicked in because I filed for it because, like, hey, I can't do shit. I can't work. I need something. Otherwise, I'm gonna fall and crash. It was a dark place. And it kind of paints, for me, the whole, like, people who do bad things because they are in a dark place. It kind of makes that argument seem bullshit. Of course, my dark place was I had a disability for a time. Other people's dark places might be that they're in a bad headspace. But yeah, short-term disability kicked in, and I had so many saving graces kick in around the same time. My mom moved back into Fort Worth from, like, the Lampasas area. Yeah, that's right. That's very right, Heather. So I was in a dark place, but incidentally, a lot of light shone in at the same time, because I went from pain. I was basically in a state where I was just ready to let everything go. My car payments were months late. I was just ready to let that lapse. I was ready to just kind of, like, sit and degenerate where I was, basically in that bed right over there. I was ready to just, nah, it's not. This is where it ends here. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do the act of ending it there. But I was going to let lack of self-care take it over. I was going to let life happen against me at that moment, the way that it seemed like it was going to turn out. So my mom moved back in into the DFW area. And I love my mom. She's great. She's the hardest fighting woman I know. And she brought me back. from the precipice, basically. And so the moment she learned about what I was struggling with, the lack of payments, because that I think I owed like $2,000 to the car payments. She took that right away. She's like, "I'm paying this for you. Just give me the information. I'll get you back on insurance so you can drive your car around." And yeah, she did that. I got the short-term disability payments, and I was able to get hernia repair. What a couple of shots to the spine will do for you is insane. It wasn't an instant heal though. It took a little bit. So, this job that I have now, she recommended to me. I uh I went Heather, I went through a bit of it. I hope I don't have to go through that again, and I would say it's a pain I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and I think that's true. But there's a few people I'd wish it on who are worse than the worst enemy, or not even the worst enemy. Just because I know the pain and I want them. There I talked to Gosney about this, but I have a lot of wrath here. So I think about it a bit. But my mom pulled me out of this dark place, basically dragged me out of the mud. She got my car insurance payment. She got my car payments for a little bit. Uh, I saw a moment to come back from what I had. The people I'd wish it on are not deserving of that, of love. But I don't want to seek out directly. I don't want them to get hurt directly. The people I'm thinking about are government workers. Certain government workers. A lot of my ability to think in the way that I do has basically come from government people are not real. They're not real people. Citizens are. What is love, friend? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. But yeah. She she pulled me out, and I saw a moment because not only did she pull me out of the situation by getting my car payments back up, I got the short-term disability. I got the love is not just a pink bunny hopping in the grass. I see pink bunny and I'm thinking about Pippa. Uh, so the short-term disability came in, and I got the money to get a hernia repair. Didn't kick in. The repair didn't help right away. I was still on the crutches, but at the same time, I got a recommendation for this job, the street sweeping job, and the boss was a good friend to my mom. So I basically got in right away, and I'm like, right away, I was already very thankful. It's like, dude, I can't even walk right now properly, and you're willing to pull me into this manual labor job. And that was in December. So I got the job in December, worked through the year. No, I think I got the job in November. I'll need to check my timeline. But in November to December, I got the job. And then in the following year, I caught COVID on my birthday. And so I was basically dying in bed. It sucked. Fever, chills. I brought a sickness into this house unintentionally, and I was had a mask on, everything. I was not even in my room. I had a mask on. I didn't want to go anywhere without it because like I don't want to spread this around. I feel so bad. Gave it to my grandma. She's fine. She was vaccinated. I gave it to my twin who only had like a migraine or a headache for a little bit, but that was about it for him. I was dying. uh, Heather, that sucks. Got COVID twice and had to be around my family, help with some things when I had it the first time, but managed to give. Yeah, it would be nice. It would have been nice not to give it to anybody, but that was what happened for me. I gave it to my boss by accident because at the time, I guess apparently I had no symptoms or it was on me, and the truck I was using for work broke down, and he had to drive me to the office to go home because I was at my last property. The truck had an oil. It was the oil was leaking, and it got to a point where it wouldn't operate. And he had to take me to the office to so I can go home. Uh, I gave it to him. Yeah, I felt so damn bad. That was a moment, and I wish I could undo it, but my boss ended up not feeling too bad about it because apparently I gave him security because like he had fears of it, but after that his fears were eased. I was first scared the first 2 days. I had it when I had severe body aches all over, but then just fell off for a few weeks. Taste buds were off for that time. Yeah, I had the same experience. Uh, though I wasn't so afraid of the body aches. I was my experience with EMS. I was nationally registered, licensed, but I let it lapse over the course of however long, mostly due to the work I didn't exactly create for a situation where I do continuing education on it. And then that's on me for letting it drop. But the state, still have my state license, I think for a year after this. So I'm probably gonna go and keep my state license valid. But through my EMS training, I you learn things about infections because it's a part of the course, just kind of how you respond to it, how you can help somebody. And over the course of it, I learned that for fevers, you just get the body aches, it's chills and shivers. Uh, it can get worse than that, but if at worst for you, you get shivers, it'll be mostly all right. Like it'll hurt for a little bit, but that's just your body reacting in the places where it reacts. My taste buds were also gone for a time. I couldn't taste food, or I could taste food differently. I can't tell if there was no taste or if there was a difference in the taste. I didn't need to do a nasal steroid. It came back over time. Though that was an experience me and my twin shared, and that was unique. Um, but yeah, I caught COVID after that. Uh, it was just work. But after a while of working this job that I've got, I realized I could walk again. I could walk properly again. And that was for a guy who thought this back pain and my back pain turning around in my bed and it hurting. You don't really think about it, but when you lie in bed, it's just a time to relax. So when for me, laying in bed and turned into a hostile environment, turned into a hostile act where my body hurt me to do that. I think that moment brought me from like, so the initial pain was I was from here to here, learning that in a place where I should be comfortable, a place where I should be relaxed, brought my mood and motivation from here to here. So having that come back, having that problem resolve itself or get resolved was bringing me up slowly. I started noticing my walk improve slowly. You don't really notice it because you still think it's the same. And then after a while, I was back. I don't know when I noticed, but it was around the time when my twin got back into working with his old place. And Heather had, yeah, I experienced something similar when I suffered from lower back pain in October. It was hard getting out of bed without it hurting. Had to go to a holistic chiropractor a bunch. I would have, except the chiropractors were not in my time schedule. The chiropractor was like late morning to a little bit to late afternoon, but I worked a night shift at that time, and I could not wake up around that time for my life because I wake up later. So I couldn't go to a chiropractor. And I have a family member who's not very keen on them. So I took their word. I don't hate chiropractors, but I was trying to like balance between uh going there and whatnot. I don't know. I took their word. I listened to another friend who likes chiropractors. It was I don't know. I went there once and I realized when applied pressure, I get really gassy. And I got really tense trying to hold in farts because I didn't want to like fart up in this guy's face. So it's like, I think not. Thank you though. My mom was either, my mom never was either, but I sent to the special holistic one who looks at your whole body and your habits to see why you go to where you are, gives other tips to help. See why to go see why you go to does Wink go to see why you go to oh but I went to oh my understanding of English, because I was weirdly literate back when I was growing up. You said, but I sent to this place is equal to I went to this place. In my eyes, I didn't. I didn't think. I read it, and you probably saw the issue, but I sent and I went was the same because you. I was also reading the Bible, and apparently, getting sent, or I sent, or you sent, is equal to went. So you said it worded that weirdly, but it was proper enough to me. Like they just look at all the things you do from your diet and stuff. I don't know. I have a weird like reading background, so I just kind of. I guess it was also intuitively understood with what you said, so it didn't really. I didn't think it was weird. Don't apologize for bad wording, unless it's like it defeats what you were trying to say. Then I guess I follow the next rule of no apologies, or at least something that's not your fault or shouldn't be your fault. Um. So yeah. Uh. Over the course of like a year of working, because this job is walking. Okay, I'm actually great at writing out my thoughts, but not when You're fine. You're fine. No need to hurry. Oh, I guess you're working right now, so it's not a good idea to do that while you're working. But but yeah. After a while of working this job that's basically on your feet, the average steps I take in a night range from like 6 to 7,000 to at my highest like 25,000 steps. So I got a lot of legwork in. I got a lot of walking. I started feeling better generally because I go from sedentary, I'm obese, I'm like 300 pounds. I was 340 when I started, or 350. And I need to go. I need to get another. I got like an Amazfit watch just to kind of track. It was all right, but there was certain things I wish could have been better. Then my brother gave me his Samsung watch because he moved to the Apple environment, so he gave me that. Uh, I was 340 in like March of last year, and then I worked it down to 300 this year, to about this year. I didn't want to go for like a hard loss of weight. I wanted to lose it over time so I could sustain the habit of losing weight. Uh, I'm still at 300. I've been at 300 for a while. It fluctuates up and down. I got below two. I got below to like the 299 range before. It makes me happy, but it's like apparently muscle's denser than fat, so less muscle still. I've been told I look skinnier. Like it's apparently noticeable. So that always keeps me pretty happy. I have cut soda. I have not had a soda for like 3 years. Maybe. I might have had a diet one, but that's on the rare instance. And then I realized if there's no tea, muscle weighs more than fat. So if you're building muscle, you may not see the scale go down, but it's still a good thing. Yeah, it might be that. I also did like mountain climbers for a time because I realized the core is important. So I cut all soda. But I do drink sugary tea sometimes, like today. If you drink sugar tea or sweet tea, I'd recommend half and half if you can to reduce the amount of sugar concentration you can get from that. It took me a little bit, and I realized the thing I wanted with like a diet soda was I wanted something cold to drink. So instead of just getting a diet soda, when in lieu of unsweet tea, which I gotten to enjoy. I think black tea, just as it is all right. It kind of depends on where you get it from because different places use different kinds of. Where your water comes from matters. I've done it with trivia before, which is stevia and the other part of the sugar plant, which supposedly doesn't contain calories but is still sweet. That's what I put in my coffee too. I just do black coffee. I take all the risk of getting a sweetener that's disagreeable or sugar or cream by just drinking it as it is. Black tea and black coffee have become pretty good to me. I can, but with diet soda and soda, I just wanted something cold to drink, and I just throw ice in my coffee or tea now. I mean, tea served at a restaurant is going to be iced anyway, so there's no need for that. But for coffee, there's always an option for iced coffee, so I'll do that, and it's great. I love it. Last couple days, I accidentally got coffee with liquid sugar in it, because I guess the way they heard it was they were asking if I wanted iced coffee, and it's like flavors. I'm like, no creamer and no sugar, and I guess I heard and no as only sugar. So that was fun. I had surprisingly sweet tea those days. Some people do those sparkling waters that have a bit of flavor too, if you like the carbonation. I don't like carbonated water. I don't like it without the flavor. And a bit of flavor is not enough. I don't like the fizzy stuff. I don't like the fizziness. I'm planning on doing a chicken and rice diet pretty soon. Or a kind of lean meat and rice. I just need to get a rice cooker. But yeah. Iced tea or coffee in lieu of the I think if you stick the whole food, it's good. Lots of veggies and stuff. I might get the Field of Greens or Brick House Field of Greens stuff to like get that kind of stuff. I also got like multivitamins, which has vitamin A, C, D, 3, E, K, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, folate, biotin, zinc, magnesium, iodine, calcium, pantothenic acid, zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, chromium, and lycopene. I was in his locals chat after his post stream for the exclusive members, and I talked to him. He's got to talk to them first. He's got to figure out if they're going to be okay with him doing what he wants to do. I'll probably message him about it. I'll also probably message him about that Christianity thing, because I think that's interesting. I'm going to get Field Greens. There's a special diet plant that they want people to try. I'll try it. I will email him. I will have in all caps the whole like plan. He loves emails. I think he actually has become more favorable to emails lately. Probably because Twitter cut his DMs and his whole Twitter thing, which kind of cut a lot of his communications aspect. I could also message him on locals because I've got the yearly membership, but you can pay $5 extra a month to get to talk to him. I do that when I think I have something to say, and then I end up not having anything to say. I'd probably more or less go through locals. But yeah. It's not that he doesn't read them, it's that he doesn't get the notifications for them. Or the notifications aren't so easy to get. Locals is still growing. So hopefully it'll become really good. I'm waiting for them to implement the background play for live streams. I want to be able to listen to the post-stream live stream from locals without having to keep my phone on. That's also possible, Heather. But but yeah, was we got distracted. I don't think he would disagree with you, Carrie. Yeah, me being on locals really drains my phone. Yeah, it sucks. It's fun because the community is great. I hate it because I have to walk around, and part of my job is taking pictures of the property, so I can't be in locals all the time. So yeah, a lot of my weight loss plan is just cutting out the sweet drinks. I will start. I have grown a taste to bitter flavors. Speaking of bitter flavors, I got this Dalmore 14 year. I had a 12 year earlier, but I gotta have a reason to get through this thing. Uh, I don't like the taste. I like the 12 year a lot better. It's supposed to be smoother, but I don't taste the smoothness. It's just kind of sour and bitter. So hopefully I can get to monetization so I can start getting super chats to encourage me to drink that, because you need to bring a portable phone charger to your job. I can charge my phone at work with it. I have a truck that I work in, so I have a charger. It's a lesson you learn early. Well, oh no, you're like rackets now. I'm trying to cut back on the drinking to lose weight. Not a whiskey person either. Well, I said to you at least. Well, there you go. Apparently, whiskey's not very fattening or something like that. It's beer where you get the beer belly. Get on a Jeff stream, it'll help. How do you mean? So, like, advertise on a Jeff stream? The only drug I do is losartan. I'm a heavy guy. I've got fat. I have health issues. I have hypertension. So yeah, I got this resolved pretty early. Yeah, that's what screwed me over the last few years. Started getting addicted to coladas, which is the way the M appears in chat on the screen. It looks like it says tornado, but I know it's tomato juice mixed with beer. I know it sounds gross, but I love salty things. Be a person on the stream. He does live streams. Yeah, actually, that okay. Yeah, I'll message Jeff and I'll be like, "Hey, I'm a total fucking nobody. Do you want to have me on? It'd be kind of nice." It'd probably be a good way to stream. uh, I'll see. I'll message him, see if he'll have me. I think he's friendly, or I don't want to assume he'll be friendly to a not so well-known streamer. And I could probably get the assumption because I think the way he built his platform, he was encouraged and he grew pretty quickly, encouraged by a legal mindset and Ricada. So I'll hit him up. This guy's from Sweden. No, this guy from Sweden had like 300 people. Now he's up to. Well, the guy from Sweden had 300 people. I have 22 people right now. I will contact him. I'll contact him after I'm done here. But yeah. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen. But you just started. Yeah, I know. I don't want to be like, "Hey, Jeff, Legal Vices. I'm a growing YouTuber. Have me on so I can grow faster." This upcoming case started last year. basically. And the way I've understood trials in cases, this probably won't be a thing. This probably won't be a thing for until next year. Ask later if you can come. I'll just email him. I'll just ask, like, hey, I'm a new guy. If you're interested in possibly helping another content creator grow, I will mind having me on for one of your streams. See what I'm about. I'll tell you what I'm about. I will talk to him. I'll try to talk to him. I'll try to get in touch. Cause this is exactly what I want this to be. I didn't think I'd be able to fill in time, but I was telling a story, and with just 2 people, I've been able to keep it going, get distracted, get off the main topic. That's exactly what I want. I also want to probably make up another channel, like a. The idea was so I had this idea to make a second channel or a sub channel to this one for like clips and extra stuff. So I have Legal Layman, and I want to call it Legal Layman Content LLC. I'm corny as shit. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. I plan on talking to Jeff. Thanks for the idea. I didn't even think about that. I had Gosney on. Dude, Gosney was great. I loved having him on. It was awkward as shit. I guess it works, but not different enough. Why make another channel until this one gets... That's the plan. I'm planning on waiting until this one gets bigger, and then I'm going to start like, hey, over there. That one has my extra shit. Or you'll hear me sing, because I want to sing. I got a good mic. I still have the a Yeti. I realize this thing isn't where it should be. But now I have like a Yeti mic. It's a USB charger or a USB connection, but it still sounds infinitely better than I just make clips. Yeah, I plan on it. I plan on making clips. Hey, don't be a fairy boy. Might turn some people off, but I'm entertained by good singing. I used to be in choir, so singing is where my heart goes. I want to do that. I was in my school's varsity choir group, and we were a small school, and we used to tackle giants. We got ones in UIL state. I'll probably talk about this later. It's a topic for a time. Not everything I'm gonna do is legal based. I want to talk about. There's this art. There was a drama like a month ago or 2 about this artist, and I want to talk about that. So I'll probably do that on another stream. But I have things in mind. This job that I have, if I can start doing this full time, I'm probably going to be doing a lot of extra things outside of it. Because I realized driving around doing this manual stuff helps me think a lot of the things that I think. It's gotten me to this point. So I thank my boss a lot for that kind of stuff. Nice. I need to practice my singing again. My lungs are so small. I need to practice my breathing. I need a standing desk if I want to start doing this. Because singing while sitting like this is doable. But you don't get as much air. You probably know this, Heather. Your lungs aren't small. They're just not used to... They're probably not used to the air you need anymore. So I'll probably do that. Hopefully I can make this thing full time. That's the goal. I probably said that more times than is necessary for the first 3 videos. But back to the topic cuz we got way out of it. Um I started being able to walk in, just got to grind it out and put out the good content. Yeah, just be yourself. That is the plan. That is the goal. I don't want to be anyone but me. Uh Hopefully I can start getting more aggressive with a lot of myself is a lot of that wrath I mentioned a while ago. And I want to tackle the issues where I can get that wrath out in words. Because having it in words means more to me than potentially putting it out into the world with violence. I'm looking at Volusia County, that sheriff case with the 4chaner. It makes me mad. We have a protected right for a reason. Possibly. They could be. The only way words are violent is if I'm Dragonkin and I can actually shout. That's the only time. But yeah. There's no, not even then. Or wait. This is why it's important to have free speech online. If you try to silence people, they become more enraged. When we need an outlet to let people. That's what I've said before. I'm referring to AOC, what she said about people criticizing her. Oh, I don't keep up with AOC. I have better things to do than to go after than to look at Alex Stein's side piece. I said in my first video that my politics would be slowly. Jamie Dore, I watch Alex Stein. Alex Stein is harassing her. Yes. But yeah, back to the topic I was starting on. Jim Dore trashed her. Okay. Yeah, I realized there was a bag of money, as Bronca puts it. Ricada says money's not real when you start doing this to a point where you get money out of it. And then Bronca is famous, I think, enough for the money bags of money, and you just need to grab it. That's my plan. I'm 24 years old. I live not a lavish life, but I live a life enough to be alright. I want more. I want better. And I want better to give to the people that I love. Better. So, this bag of money that Bronca says, this unreal amount of money that Ricada says, I'm going to take it. I'm going to try and take it. These hands were made for holding things. Soft, supple things and bags of money. So hopefully I'll get there. And I will. I won't let things stop me. It's only natural, just work hard and contribute to society and you should be fine. Learn how to save your money and not waste it either. Most young people aren't taught that. And Matt Talibi is great and I've known him a long time. He is always on it. I have the thing with young people saving money is you start saving something and you might need something pretty quickly. Like, I'm in Texas and I don't have a gun, unfortunately. And I work in a Dallas area. So I need to save money to get one. And hopefully I will. But, yeah, one of those. Need to save up money for it. But I also learned there's a trick. Budgeting. I'm not the best at it, but I know the principles enough of it to get it to a point. So I separated my bank account into like my personal spending money and bills. I divide all of my bills into monthly payments and then divide it by 4 because I get paid weekly. So all of my bills are accounted for and in a separate account where I cannot touch it. Or if I touch it, I put it back in right away. So I've already got that squared away. And my paycheck it's already divided by 75 and 25%. 25 of it goes to savings. So I've already got that squared away. And I take 20 out of my savings every paycheck to go to my bills, so $80 every month will go to my credit card. So I can get that thing down over time without having to look at it. And I'll try not to spend from it very often. So that way I can start building up my credit a little better. Be able to use it like 1, 2, and then come back to it after however long. But yeah, just kind of like it makes $80 out of my extra spendable money, I guess. But yeah, I plan on grinding it out, plan on getting to a point, because maybe I'm a little too altruistic or too giving in some way, but I want something to give to my closest friends, my family. I have 2 friends that I don't. Hold on. Yeah, you need gun, buy, and some ammo and other supplies in case shit hits the fan, which is something it'll sooner than later. That's my problem too. I've been paying off my credit card bills, but I have more to buy. Definitely want to avoid paying credit card interest if you can. I've opened up others' credit card accounts before and transferred balances if I've saved on paying interest versus paying the interest versus the transfer fee. Huh. Well, I pay the interest because it helps me build my credit. My credit needs to get built. I haven't started a whole lot yet. But I want to give to my friends. There's 2 friends that I have that aren't my family, but this one is my closest friend. Right here. And he's in a spot. Him and his fiance. They're in a tough spot. They're in a spot that I don't envy, but I'm not in it. And I want to help them. There's it's not the roughest spot anymore because someone has offered to help them in a way that they probably didn't think that they would get. And I want to be able to carry them. This might have also been what was planned for me. If you believe in God, this is probably my plan. I Just be smart and try not to use your credit card unless you can pay them off in full next month. And I don't think you need to pay off the interest in order to have credit. It's best to pay them off every month. Yeah. And oh well, that's nice, but don't overextend yourself either. Try to help friends. Yeah, I'm hoping to get to a spot where I can stretch wide and not overstretch. But yeah, I am sensitive enough to their issue to where I think about it sometimes and how I want to do something for them. But apparently not sensitive enough not to say the wrong thing to one of the people involved. It's a very particular situation. Very particular. I love the closest friend. He's my best friend. I love him to death. He's great. We disagree so often you would think we might be enemies, and he irritates the hell out of me. I irritate the hell out of him. I couldn't ask for a better friend. It's something that I've learned to cherish, and I don't think I could separate it unless he left me, and I don't want that. And I love his fiance by the virtue of he chose her, she chose him. That's all I need to like her and want the best for her. So that's those. I realize I should probably listen to my friend more often. He's got this sensible approach to things. He thinks he tries to be more sensible. I've cast that aside recently. Sensibility in the aspects of things that I want to talk about, I feel like are a pointless endeavor. It's good to have friends who are brutally honest but love each other. You can learn from them. If there's anyone to teach me something, I think it'll be him. He's I will probably have him on in a couple years. I cannot have him on now. I cannot. Not with what he does. It would put him at risk if I instigate or irritate the wrong audience. They would go after me, but then they would go after him. And I need to keep him as far away from that as possible. Until he's done with what he has. And then if he wants to accept that possible risk, then I will gladly invite him into this environment where you guys can hear him and I argue about whatever. I want this to be a me thing, but if I can bring him in and have some fun, and he can have fun with it, I vex him, he vexes me, then that's how we plan on it going. That's how I plan on it going. That's how I want it to go. Sometimes having good debates live can help others, like what Timcast used to be. Yeah, I never really knew Timcast before, so I don't know about what's different now. But yeah. I want to. There's so many things that I can do to improve my situation, get more whatever, get more of what I need. So yeah, that's kind of my plan. I've been wanting to say that part where I should listen to my friend more. I shrug off a good portion of his advice, but I should listen to him more. I fear that it shows that I don't respect him enough in some aspects. And I do absolutely respect him. I don't respect some of the things that he says sometimes. I don't respect some of the stances, but he's I want to say entitled, but he has the right to those feelings. And I don't want to impose
how I feel about his feelings on him, to him. He'll probably see this eventually, probably hear that, but he knows if he hears this, if he watches this, buddy, know that I love you, buddy. Even if we disagree to a point of you wanting to kill me and me getting frustrated with you sometimes. As long as you take it in what he's taking what he says and let him know that doesn't mean you're ready to change yet, but tell him it helps you hear his perspective. I got annoyed with him a couple days ago because I wanted to hear his specific perspective on a topic, and it's one of the ones that I think he's talked a bit before, but I wanted to be sure. I didn't want to guess. And in asking him, he's like, "You take a guess." It's like, "You motherfucker! I was asking you." But he's a good friend, and I want the best for him. So I don't want to meet my goal and have the whole like point of the goal to go help him or create a better life for him. It's part of the goal, but I want to have my goal met for me first, because in the end I need to focus on me. And even if I do help him, if I'm bad, if I'm not in a good spot, it ultimately crumbles his support if I do end up being able to help him. So for me, and basically, yeah, exclusively for me, because if I say for me and for him, for me and for my family, it puts it on the family. It's on me. It's not something that you should have to deal with. It's not something that you should have to focus on. So it's mostly for me. It's my selfish goal. But so yeah. That's a bit of my friend, how I interact with him. The dark place topic from before, I don't think I actually resolved that. But yeah, I'm back to walking normally. I was in a dark spot. It was painful. You never think you come out of a painful place, but sometimes you do. Sometimes the pain is part of the journey, and it resolves pretty much at the end of the pain. You don't know when you expect it to end, but it ends at some point. And when it does, and you realize it, it's a wave of emotion. I didn't cry, but I think I nearly did whenever I realized my limp was gone. I was back to working. I was back to walking. I said it at the time. I think it's about weight loss, but when I say when I lose weight, I'd like to become human again. I probably take a perspective from about that's probably taken from someone else, but I feel it in my soul, in my being. I'm not me as I am. I am a version of me that's unacceptable or unlikable. And I mean, yeah, you can accept me as who I am, but it needs to change. Accepting who I am as I am right now is accepting this for a lifetime. Accepting Lasix, accepting beta blockers, accepting medications that I don't need to live if I lose the weight. Especially when it comes to the edema that you can get from hypertension. I like who I am personally, but I know I need to work on it. I know I need to improve. And loving our bodies when not fit will help us. Loving who I am right now won't help me. I respect who I am. I don't hate me, but I know I need to get better. And I'll see myself later. Start your day with good intentions. Say some simple mantras in your head or out loud. So you're writing about the good things you did. I should probably start a journal, but I think this channel thing might end up being a journal thing for me anyway. Because I have things to say. I said this to the friend. I said this to my brother. I realized it's a metaphorical thing, simile, whatever, an analogy. On my weight loss, I see me in the distance, a version of me that I have yet to achieve. I am over there, but I'm over here. And I need to meet myself there, ahead of the path. The version of me that I want to meet is a version of me that is better shape, better health, better position. That version of me probably lies in a year or two from now, 3 years, 4 years, and it probably rests 100 to 200 pounds lighter. I'm thinking like 210 or maybe 190. It'll help over time. I need to be better at this, but I do pause and think about what I'm grateful for a lot. It helps you stay positive mindset that keeps you trying every day. I keep envisioning myself how I want to look again too a lot lately, over towards it by eating less and better foods, moving more. Sleep is important too, which is what I was neglecting. Yeah, I probably need to change that as well. I need to go back to a day shift aspect. Night is great. I love the nighttime. I want to do the nighttime thing, but probably in the short term need to go back to daytime. Meet my rhythm back. Because I take melatonin to sleep. I need it to sleep. It helps me sleep. But yeah, the version of myself that I see in the distance, it's like 210, 190, better shape, better place. I'm over here. I gotta go meet that guy. That guy in the future. That guy, he's great. I want to meet him. He'll be who I want. And the moment I meet him, I'll say goodbye to this. To me. And when I do, I'll be better for it. I'll be in a place that this version of me could only dream of. And I'll be there. I'll get there. And when I do, it'll be great. And I'll show it off. Everyone's already noticing the slightest changes. I want that to be the noticeable change. I want that to be the big achievement. The bigger achievements in my life will be being able to live without worries of finances. Finances and my weight. That's what I got. I'm like 6'1", 6'2". I got the height. I got the face. Just imagine this, but less fat, shrunken in. I got the features for it. I got the features to be attractive. I got the features to be handsome, I guess. I need to straighten out my teeth, though. Everything is in place for success. I need to get there. I just need to get there. And I honestly don't think I would have gotten that if I didn't have my dark spot. And I really owe a lot to my mom. You'll be fine. Just do what you can. And nasal seasonal changes hurt. Seasonal changes sucked. I think I need Claritin. Uh, Weightlifting will help you if you have access to the gym. Do push-ups and other things. I was doing push-ups. I think during my weight loss I was active enough. I was like mountain climbers in the backyard. I was doing push-ups. I stopped after a while. I don't know why. I need to go back to doing that. I'll probably do some after the stream after I contact Jeff. But I've been relaxing my mind. I've been relaxing myself. I've been doing. It's not a good habit, but it's a. When you fail, Ricada has this thing. When you fail, you go back to simple successes, simple victories. When you've hit a rough patch, do something that is easy for you to do, but very fulfilling. Easy doesn't mean less fulfilling. Easy means easy. The amount of fulfillment you get out of it is what you get out of it. I want to. So I play this game, and it's a mass multiplayer online game. I want to get to. I like dancing. I like moving my body. When I stand in a spot, I do like a bounce, 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 a little bit. It's not a whole lot, but it's fun. I like moving, and sometimes I'll just like sway my hips, roll them. Just put some good music on and dance in your room. I do it a lot. I don't do like big dances. I don't have enough room, but I like moving around. I like walking. I kind of want to do a Viva Fry style of video, or at least when he did it on YouTube. Walking around, having like a camera up, like, hey, what's up? I'm this guy. That's how either that or get a standing desk. This is an L-shaped desk. So as soon as I get a standing desk, I'm going to be from here to up here. That'll be great. And, yeah. I think I've done a fair amount of introspection and thoughts starting off. Oh, thoughts starting off. I have not touched that. That's the one I wanted to do. That was with Gosney. I realized I like being an audience member. With that interview I did with him, I wanted to talk. I wanted to listen to him more than I wanted to talk. And I realized as I was listening, it's like, wait, oh yeah, I gotta say something here. I gotta talk. I gotta like bring topics for him to like relate to talk about. I can't just sit here and not add to the conversation. Well, I mean, I could, but it wouldn't be nice. It wouldn't be proper to him. Hold on. Click, clack, 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 clack. I totally didn't just chill the stream right now with locals. Did not. Even though it's like towards the end. But yeah. Thoughts starting off. I wanted to be an audience member more than I wanted to be the interviewer. And I realized I need to get out of the audience mindset. I want to watch. I like watching. It's content. It's a consumption mindset. I need to make a production mindset. And when I do, I'll probably get really good at this. I dedicate myself to things very easily when I get into it. This law thing is probably my longest lasting dedication so far. The law interests me, the way the world works. Ricada might want to kill me for this later on. He might think I kind of align up with it. I wanted to be a politician, or I had the ideas that the best way to help was being a politician early on. Like, I was like in high school, like racking my brain. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? I can't think of anything that's important that can help. Being a doctor is not. It helps, but it's not great. It's a lot of stress. And it's like, it clicked, a politician. But then it's like, politicians suck. That's what I realized. And so I needed to abandon that. And so I did. And I guess that politician aspect that stuck with me at that early age in high school has led to me becoming interested in law. I honestly kind of owe it to anime. The Vic Mignogna case is what introduced me to Ricada, and Ricada is what introduced me to a lot of what I know now. This whole streaming thing was only a thought in the background of my mind, and I didn't think it could do much. But he wants to help people grow. He wants to help people do their thing. It's why he's so friendly about the grifting and shilling. And I like that. It's great. He is the man. I don't think I've ever disliked a take from him. But I also need to form myself, form my own identity. I need to solidify who I am and what I do. I find him to be an inspiration, and I don't think I disagree with a lot of his takes. I got to meet him at Matsuri twice. I love it. I'm hoping this thing takes off so I can meet him more often at other things. Hold on. Saran! How you doing? But yeah. It's kind of thanks to him and Bronca. Bronca towards the end, where I decided, I think it was the money, the bags of money to take. And he learned this because of Ricada, so. I don't think I can grift so much to get a BMW. I might need to make a website for myself so I can figure that out. But yeah, this introspection and starting off portion of it is more or less me, who I am, who I want to be. I'm not in school. I work a street sweeping job. A lot of this has already been talked about earlier. It's kind of like a travel through who I am and what I do now. But yeah, just real quick, I do street sweeping. I've done it for like a year and a half or a year or more now. Yeah, I think at least 2 years now. I forgot the timeline, but it was part of my recovery from a dark place, a pain, a hurts in my life. I gotta get out of the ahs, ums, and I need to start letting silence sit. It bothers me with Ricada because I think the stream's gone bad, but then I look back and he lets silence. And also not starting things off with so. I hopefully have established a lot of who I am in the first couple streams. The Gosney stream was great. I gotta get into a producer mindset. I gotta get into not wanting to be an audience member, or at least being an audience member strictly in certain aspects. No, you're good. It. I was just saying that so you would know that it's there, that it's already been addressed. Uh, no need to be sorry about just asking. I I recognize that with Ricada's thing when he would address a topic and like 20, 30 minutes later he'd have to readdress it again. I was already expecting to maybe have to do that, so I'm not too worried about. Yeah, verbal pause. I learned that in school. I actually learned that way early. So I think so is just a normal way of trying to connect dots because it's actually a way to it's something to go after a comma. So you would say that. I think I need to say it with more purpose though. At least in the communications. Starting off though, I have had fun. My first stream was scuff. In a way that it was exciting and terrifying at the same time. I am pleased with it though. I'm very pleased with it. It's exciting, it's fun. And the terrifying aspect is merely just the stage frights, the jitters. I woke up for the Gosney interview like 20 minutes before the stream was supposed to start. Because I worked till 10 o'clock the day before. No, the day of. I woke up from 6 o'clock, started work at 8:30, and I finished work at 10 a.m. the next day, basically. 8 a.m. the next day, I was driving back to the office to drive home. And that was because one of the properties that I had to work had a non-compliance issue that needed to get very, very heavily addressed right away. It's a lot of leaves. Fall is fun and pretty up until the point where you have to pick up every single leaf in a property, in a yard, in a parking lot. And spring is pretty as well, up until the point where you have to pick up the pollen or the dust on the ground from the pollen or petals falling. One of the properties I had to work at had a lot of leaves built up on a wall. It filled up 3 trucks worth of hoppers. And the hopper is about like this wide and like 10 feet back. It's like a truck bed, but really tall. That's what led up to the interview. I had to come home. I had to take a shower because I was dusty as shit. I need to. I posted a picture of that in the local chat actually. I was covered in dust. My hair was matted. It's great. I actually kind of like the dustiness of it. In a way. I don't know. It just shows that I worked. It's like proof. These little things hopefully will also. When I say proof just now, I thought about the phrase proof of my existence. And I hope that proof that I existed stays long into the future. Introspection. It's great. I'm very often in my head. So hopefully I'll get to share a lot of my headspace with you guys. Hopefully you guys will be interested enough to hear me out. And already, thank you guys. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Saran. Just yours, Danielle. Already, so many people have come to hear me. Though yesterday, he probably wouldn't try to take the credit, but I would mostly credit that to people going there to listen to Gosney. And I respect that. It's not. He happens to be in a place I would watch where he would go just to watch. I have a lot of respect for him and what he's offered and what he's given, what he says. Yesterday we talked about he and she, understanding psychology books. I'm getting those on Monday. I got paid today, and I'm going to read up on those because it's important to understand some things like that. And he recommends I read he before I read she, so I will. I'm really hoping to make something out of this. And I think I've spoken long enough. I've gotten a lot of ideas out. I'm going to start working on the next idea, next topic. Hopefully, you guys will stick with me for those as well. If I get any updates on the Tanner Horner thing, oh, I didn't think about that. That is a he. That is a he indeed. Well, it's also understanding certain psychological aspects. I don't know. Someone wrote about it. Gosney recommends it, so I will. I'll read it. The he book was cheaper than the she book. And the she book has a hardcover. What gives? Why don't the guys have a hardcover? Discrimination. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I streamed a lot longer than I thought I was going to. I streamed nearly as long as I think I want to. 3 hours is a lofty idea for right now. I probably can't do this every time, all the time. But I was able to do it today. I was able to get that. So yeah, I think... Yes, I'll have a good evening. It's my day off. I'll probably maybe get more sleep, a little bit more sleep after this is done. I'll start off doing shorter streams, honestly, like 45 minutes to an hour or 2 hour stuff. Yeah, I think that might be the plan. Unless I have the topics worthy enough for longer streams, then I will do that. I want to be able to interact like this with people. Round it up to a 3 hour stream on average, but not every time. It doesn't need to be every time. My main goal right now is just to stream as often as I can, just to get what I have to say. I'll probably get some blue button-up shirts pretty soon, because in my icon it's a blue collar shirt. On the video you see to the bottom corner, it's a scale. There's tech. It's like a... I actually made that. I've everything on the channel so far I've made. To do that, I worked on a lot of degenerate stuff to work up a skill for editing, and I guess it's graphic design, but I somehow built a graphic design mindset. It's very cool to me. I've worked up a graphic design understanding and capacity. Blue collar, heavier than the text, because it's a mildly communistic idea. The actual workers are important. More important than the lawyers, the more advanced stuff like the government. So yeah, that's how that thing comes about. And that's why I'm probably going to buy some blue shirts. I need to figure out a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for this whole thing. If it becomes a business that I can do, I will do it. And yeah. I think that is my show for tonight or for today. It's still daytime. Luckily, I have like an hour of daylight left. Yeah, an hour and like 10 minutes. So, thank you for coming to the show. Hopefully, I'll see a lot of everybody else on the replay. Uh, I'll acceptably do verbal pauses on the outro. I have a very I'm so glad I thought of this before I started streaming. So I'm gonna end up in the stream with. So Verkada has peace. I do hang loose. I like this. I've done this for like 2 years now. I love this gesture. It is It is nice. It is. It's got the movement. It's got the friendliness. I like it. Oh yeah, since I've got you guys, if you're interested in a band, look up Whiskey Dick. Look up Whiskey Dick. They're great. I love them. Uh, to my friend, if you're watching this, the friend that I mentioned earlier, thank you. Hopefully you didn't slam your head against the wall hearing me talk. To everyone else who watched, thank you for coming. Thank you for indulging me on the whim. I'll probably try to start scheduling these out better. The goal is to go to sleep sooner so I can get up earlier and start doing these more frequently at the same time rather than like bouncing between like 6 o'clock, 6 to 7 to 3 to 6, whatever. The goal is to be more consistent. And I have so many like ladybug things like crawling in the room. I'm surprised. But yeah, thank you for coming. I'll see you the next time. I might be able to stream tomorrow if I wake up early enough, in which I'll probably talk about that art thing that I mentioned earlier. I'll try to do this regularly. I might do Sunday off. Yeah, I'll probably do Sunday off. No. Might need to do Monday off. Because I work the Sunday night into Monday. We'll see how it goes. I'll try a Sunday stream, or try to not stream Sunday and then to Monday. But if that doesn't work out so much for me, I'll probably do a Sunday day stream and then Monday off day. And have that as my off day until I get to do this long enough to where I can be consistent with it and stream 5 days a week rather than the 6-day idea. But thank you for coming along. Thank you for watching. Hang loose.